with it. But otherwise, how many of you do not have a Bhagavad Gita here? No, that is fine. You are exempted. You are some of the long-standing ones here. Please make sure that you bring your own Bhagavad Gita book. Will you send your children to school without their backpack full of books? Yes or no? No, right? So this is your Sunday school. And your bag, Sunday bag, must have a Bhagavad Gita in it. So please bring that. And again, as another reminder, what is the second thing that I had requested? Your noise making gadgets, mute them so that they are not a disturbance to anybody else around. Sometimes these days even the vibration is so loud, you can also tamper with it and make it a little less disturbing. It almost sounds like a sound rather than just vibrating, so it's a personal alert for you. What will happen if your cell phone rings? $50. हंस कह रहे हैं हम? What's that? ओए यार सेम साइड गोल मत मारो. If I had that kind, then why would we be doing fundraisers every year? Understand that would also be a good fundraiser. In fact, the last year 12th grade, the entire group was saying, Swamiji, give us the entire Chinmay Mission's phone book list. I said, why? One class in a month, we will all sit and make phone calls. And if any phone rings, that will be a good fundraiser for us. I said, we have not fallen to that level yet. It's a good idea though. Okay. Last week, I guess we covered the introduction to Bhagavad Gita and overall view of how Bhagavad Gita is structured. So the first chapter is literally the confusion that many of us go through. Though his confusion, Arjuna's confusion, was with regards to the war as such, because that was his responsibility. We have our own personal wars. We go through our own wars, our own battles that we have to decide and win over. Wherever there are choices, confusion is always bound to be. There is this old, very old joke that comes into my mind. I don't know why it came. So there was this guy, he was known for his ridiculous ideas. He was world renowned for it. And he attends this pest control seminar. And just to have fun, they ask him to present his module. And rodents, the rats and mouse and mice and that kind. So he brings in a tube, a PVC pipe, and a sharp blade. And to display how sharp it is, he throws his handkerchief and places his knife. And the handkerchief splits itself into two just by the gravity. He says, that sharp is this knife. And he puts the knife in front of that PVC pipe and puts a kaju and a kismis, a raisin, on either sides of the knife. And says, this is the most inexpensive rodent killer. I said, how? I said, the mouse will come out and then it will be confused. It will be confused. Kaju khaun, kismis khaun. Kaju khaun, kismis khaun. And it will be cut. So they should have left him alone. One fellow, just to poke fun at him, he said, "Bhaiya, Kaju Kismis is very costly." So he said, "Don't worry, I have a solution for that also." He removed Kaju and Kismis, and then he said, "Now the Chuha will come out and it will say, Kaju nahi hai, Kismis nahi hai, Kaju nahi hai, Kismis nahi hai." It'll still be dead. Many of us in life, we get trapped in our little hole with various options, especially in the field of choices that we have to make. Higher the responsibility, intense is the choice. And it is this freedom of choice that we have to learn to choose. And the confusions occur in that field. Wherever there is a field of responsibility, that which we ought to do, our confusions are highest. And that is why we tend to postpone, we tend to procrastinate, we tend to avoid, we tend to run away, we tend to delegate. And it can be as simple and as trivial. And you can see this between your children as well, right? You ask them, trash can is full, go empty it. And between the children, is there anybody who jumps and says, yes, I will do it? What is the first argument that comes about? First thing is, it is an argument. And what is it that comes about? I did it last time, you do it this time. No. I did it the other time, that day, then you said you will cover, now you do it. Isn't that the discussion? Nahi? Okay. Empty the, what you call, the dishwasher. The same discussion. And sometimes it is not the children, it is between Shripati and Srimati. Can't you do this much? Always it is about the responsibility. We would want to immediately delegate it, run away from it, avoid it as much as possible. And in the nick of the moment, somehow manage to finish it. And then make it sound very precious and very beautiful. And how do they tend to do it? The usual statement that they make is, I tend to give out my best under pressure. Yeah, right. If it is whatever is the quantifying thing that you can, it's X amount under pressure. Imagine if you could do the same thing without pressure. And who builds those pressures? We build it ourselves. Very few wherein we come to the crossroads, like Arjuna's crossroad, wherein it is a huge turmoil inside. And to such confused ones, the second chapter is introducing the entire length and breadth of our Vedic knowledge, as in juiced out crux of it, is given in a very conceptual format. All these concepts are further taken into discussion from the 3rd chapter to the 17th chapter. All the yogas that we have are covered from the 2nd chapter to the 17th chapter. Karma, Bhakti, Jnana, Dhyana and Ashtanga Yoga. All of them get covered in it. So the Karma Yoga starts from the 3rd chapter, but the concept was already introduced in 2nd chapter. What was the concept introduced? Very good. Who said it? She doesn't even come here regularly. And still she managed to. We have to increase. Thank you for putting that competitive spirit out there for them. Karmanyeva adhikaraste is the sutra, is the concept given. That gets explained in the third chapter. While explaining that third chapter, there are certain concepts like karma, akarma, vikarma, and various subtler details of karma, wherein there are certain karma that we have as nitya karma. Nitya karma, that which we ought to do daily. Then there are naimittika karma. Naimittika karma, which are once in a year, there are some which are once in a lifetime. There are certain events, certain actions that we do which are once in a lifetime. Can you name one? Ha, shadi. The example that I had in my mind was sannyas. The other end of the spectrum. Once in a lifetime. And there was in earlier days, graha pravesh, once in a lifetime kind of. Then the thread ceremony, what you call that, the Janev, Yagnopavita samskara, once in a lifetime. There's another samskara, there's nothing to beat that. That also once in a lifetime. Antim samskar, that also once in a lifetime. The last rites, the death ceremony, is also once in a lifetime. They are naimittika. Then there are vihita karma, that which we should never ever perform. Deciding all these things, there are certain karma that we have to perform, and in that performing attitude, there are karma, vikarma, and akarma. And the subtler detail in there is that everything that we do or don't is classified under karma, is an action. As much as doing is an action, undoing or not doing is also an action. But our day-to-day language sets in the confusion. Sunday evening, you're sitting, you're done with Bal Vihar, you're done with your cooking for the week. You're sitting in your lazy boy, and a phone call comes in, and you pick up. Kya kar rahe the? What were you doing? Kuch nahi. Nothing. That sets in a confusion, because unless until we actively, vigorously are participating in something, the rest of it is not considered as action. But how is an action qualified? Even if you take it from the English grammar standpoint, doing, not doing, undoing, what are all those? They are called verbs, right? Verbs, what do they indicate? What do they denote? Thank you. Case in point. They are all actions. Another example which you would remember, what am I doing now? As much as holding is an action, to not hold is also an action. As much as to speak now that I am doing is an action, to sleep through is also an action. So from womb to tomb, there is not a moment in a human's life wherein actions are not performed. And all of you are looking at me with such intense newness, We have already discussed this last year. This is not a new concept being introduced. Karma, vikarma, akarma. To do and to not do. The third concept that is being introduced is, while performing the action, to perform it in such a way that there is no actor involved. There is no individuality involved. It is a selfless attitude of working. And we do that many times, just to prove that that also is a possibility. Instead of being here, maybe one day you just said, today I'm really tired. Instead of attending satsang, I'll go sit in Starbucks. Hota hai kabhi kabhi. And you're standing in that line only to realize that the others standing are also from the satsang only. The Starbucks here on Frankfurt and Preston, they know me. There's only one orange dude. They know me what I do. That there is a temple here and there is Sunday, Saturday, there are congregations here. And they tell me, oh, Saturday, Sunday, we find lot of India here. So I don't need to be there personally. मेरे लोग चारों तरफ फैले हुए हैं. खबर मुझे चारों तरफ से मिलता रहता है. So you are standing in that line and the guy in front of you, takes out the card while putting his wallet back into his pocket. It falls on the ground and he doesn't realize it. There are various options here. What do you do? What's that? Now that you are forced to talk, what would you talk? Just give it back. So at that point, when you see that the wallet has fallen down, all that you do is you tap the shoulder and say, hey, your wallet. It happened very recently. A group of chicks, we were, the Yuva Kendra members. We had a discussion after their whole recording and everything was being done. So, real good hard work for this Chinmay musical, Gurudev's musical, a dance drama. And they recorded amazing pieces, about 13 pieces of music. And we worked about 4 days, day and night. So I said, you all deserve a real treat. I said, pick a cuisine, I'll take you to the best of the restaurants. So they picked Italian, so I took them to a good restaurant, and then there, this fellow pulls out his wallet, and he thought he put it in his pocket. And I was leaving, I saw on the floor a wallet. So I picked it up, and he had already gone out. So I walked, and as I was sitting in the car, I just gave him the wallet, and I said, hey, wallet, it fell down. I mean, before I could say it fell down, I said, Swamiji, when did you pick it? इसे कहते हैं आ बैल मुझे मार. So therefore, now don't even pick it. Tap on their shoulder, hey, your wallet has fallen. While you do that act of trying to bring your wallet which has fallen, is there any kartrutva, is there any individuality which is doing like, I am doing this act, and nothing of that sort. It fell, and it's the right thing to do, that you're bringing it to their notice and giving it back to them. Right? There is no selfish motive there. Nothing to gain, nothing to lose. You just did it. Like there are these kids who keep running around and somebody falls, and when that kid falls, do you look, Mera beta nahi hai, and walk away? No. You immediately rush in, pick that kid up and say, be careful, man. And then you know, if you dust them off or give them whatever it is and comfort them. And in doing that act, is there a selfish motive? That there will be these photographs that will be taken, posted on Facebook, or a video that is taken, posted on Facebook, how many likes, how many shares. There is no intention there. There is no selfish motive there. There can be these acts. And imagine a life wherein almost every act, that attitude, wherein every act is a selfless act. Neither for recognition, neither for gaining anything. Things happen in life. You do what is to be done. That selfless attitude and how to attain it is explained in the initial chapter of 4th chapter, wherein Bhagavan also takes his own example. He says, even I come into this creation, having created it, I come and take part into this creation. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tada atmanam srajamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha drishkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Yes, it is not from B.R. Chopra, it is from Bhagavad Gita. Oh, that is in Bhagavad Gita. Yes, that is in 4th chapter. So Bhagavan says that, and even he performs this action without the doership involved in it. Therefore, he does not acquire either papa or punya. There is no merit or sin involved in performing the act selflessly. When it is done with that attitude of selflessness, in the attitude of service, wherein everybody benefits out of it. Such a karma is indicated through, and how to attain that is indicated through the 4th chapter. The 3rd chapter discussed it about the entire explanation of karmanyavadikaraste. The nitty-gritty details were being explained in the 4th chapter. Now let me see if anybody remembers. In the 4th chapter, does anybody remember where we stopped? Or did we finish 4th chapter? अभी भी 16 पे अटके हुए हैं. Say that again. 24th is what we have to start. That is where I have a bookmark. So take out the shloka number 23. Oh, we did not do 24th then. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. I'm glad so many people still remember it. He has a better option because he can cross-check with the files there recorded. The 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and this particular shloka, the 24th one, in almost all traditional ashram settings, the combination of the 15th chapter and this shloka is used as an invocation before we partake food. So whenever 15th chapter is chanted, I don't know why. Maybe because for 2.5 years in Vedanta course, we chanted it day in and day out. The moment I start 15th chapter, I start feeling hungry. We just chanted 15th chapter, 6th shloka, and now we are chanting this shloka. Definitely I'm hungry. Say that? Yes. It does not work just on the dogs and monkeys, it also works on us. Cognitive reinforcement. So the 24th shloka we also use along with Bhuvaswa mantra, the Gayatri mantra. We also chant this Brahmarpanam when we offer the food to the Lord as Naivedya. We chant this particular shloka. So I would request, how many of you know this shloka? Very good. The rest of you, memorize this shloka. So I'll chant it. Yes, sir. हाँ वो तो होता ही है. I chant it, you repeat it. बीच मझधार में मैं किसी को छोड़ता नहीं. वाह क्या डायलॉग है. Repeat after me. ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्म हविः ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतम् ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यम् ब्रह्म कर्म समाधिना ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्म हविः ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतम् ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यम् ब्रह्म कर्म समाधिना. I would say this particular shloka has 12 words in it, of which 6 words are Brahma. So half the shloka is already memorized, right? The other half is to remember the other 6 words in sequence. So whenever you sit down to eat food, close your eyes, chant this shloka loudly or in your mind, doesn't matter. Chant this shloka, offer it to the Lord in your mind, and then partake with the food that is in front of you. So that becomes the offering to the Lord and His prasada that you are taking. Can we all chant it together? Ready? Brahmarpanam ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यं ब्रह्म कर्म समाधिना. So here they are taking an example. The example is of the Havan Kund, the fire pit where we do the sacred offerings. So whenever a yaga or a yajna is performed, there needs to be a fire pit built. These days we use anything that is possible. So I have gone to houses wherein they have used the aluminum foil trays. In the what you call the chimney, जहाँ होता है क्या वो? Fireplace. In the fireplace, the traditional way of doing it is to build it with bricks. And nowadays the Purohits and Panditjis also have become quite proficient. They carry a portable one. You must have seen them, right? Well, luckily they are to a certain Vedic measurement, that most of them that I have seen. So the fire pit is built with the bricks, and there is a certain count. There is a certain count of how many bricks it takes to build the fire pit. And how do you build it? There are different kinds of shapes. In a Mahayajna, in a bigger format of Yajna, there are 5 fire pits, of which there is one fire pit, there is the fire constantly maintained, and they borrow it from there into the other 4 fire pits and keep the Yajna continuing, usually when it is for 11 days or 27 days or 41 days, continuously they perform. So there is one Nityagni which is maintained. It is also called the Dakshinagni. So each one has a different shape. One is round, one is in a spade shape, one is square. Most of them are in square. There are a couple of them in different shapes. So there is a mathematics involved in it as to why and how they have to build it. But usually for the non-complicated yagas or yagnas or Nitya Havana, there is a square one which is built. So the example is taken, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagnau Brahmana Hutam. That the fire pit is nothing but that Brahman in that existential format. The fire invoked is also nothing but that Brahman in the form of Agni. That which is being offered, Arpanam, is verily Brahman. The ghee and the other oblations that you offer is also nothing but that Paramatma alone. And unto which that you are offering is also that Paramatma. The one who is offering is also Paramatma. Swamiji, how does this relate to food that we are eating? The bottomless pit, the stomach, Madhya Pradesh. Whenever Madhya Pradesh is in a good condition, Uttar Pradesh is also in a good condition. Whenever there is चूहे भागते हैं, there is restlessness here, right? So people are cranky up here. You must have seen raising children, especially during their lunch and dinner times when they are hungry, they start throwing up tantrums. And why? Madhya Pradesh, directly related to Uttar Pradesh. For some, it is only at that age. For many, they have never just grown up. It just... So that Madhya Pradesh in Sanskritam is called Jatharagni. Jatharagni. Jathara is the pit of the stomach, and there is this constant fire. Now, fire is not literally that there is a furnace inside and it is burning. They're talking about the acid, the acids that gather in, which creates the urge for that hunger. So that is called... In that Jatharagni, we offer food. And whenever I talk about food, I always do mention that that is the only means, only method that any outside object can get into our system, which becomes a part and parcel of our existence, this body. Then why would we put anything which is not sanctified, which is not sattvic, into our own system? What is not sattvic? Anything that has been in the refrigerator cooked and the Sunday cooking goes off, gets tossed out. Meaning anything that is left over. What do you call that after the restaurant that you carry? That doggy bag. It never goes to the dog. There was this girl who has a dog and carried this whatever food. Swamiji, even the dog doesn't eat it. My case in point. Why do you want to suffer through? Why do you want to trouble your stomach? Because it has already lapsed. It has gone through a certain process, and that processing has evolved into the food. And after a certain while, that food will it will change its format. It will start producing unnecessary toxins. So the purity of that food that is being offered, like when you are doing havan, do you throw in things there just because they were lying around? There are many pyromaniacs. Whenever there is a yajna, they're very much interested, of all age groups. And the Purohit, poor fellow, will be saying, don't throw things inside just because you have them in your hand. Whenever I say swaha, that is when you have to put things in there. Otherwise, they'll keep putting it because it will start building that fire up. You cannot just throw anything in there. It has to be sanctified. Similarly, that sanctified food is being offered into that Jataragni, and that food is also Annam Parabrahma Swarupam. Anna, the food. Anna doesn't mean just rice, which many South Indians feel that Anna means only rice. In Sanskritam, Anna means any food. That is why the one who gives that food, she is called Annapurna Devi. It does not mean rice Purna Devi. It means any kind of food to sustain. So the food that is being offered has to be sanctified, and that Anna that is being offered is verily the Brahman himself, because he substantiates and nourishes us through that food. Therefore, the Upanishad says, Annam nanindyat tadvratam. Do not insult or waste food. Keep that as a vrata, lifelong vrata. Classifications of types of food, 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita goes through the entire list of sattvic, rajasic and tamasic foods. 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, wherein you have the sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. And the sattvic, they talk about that which, the bottom line is that which is pleasant not just while eating, but before eating and after eating also, gives you pleasantness, gives you health, gives you longevity. Such kind of foods are called sattvic. That which smells, tastes, and when in the initial phases it is good, but then after it goes in, you have that acidity and other problems. Golgappe khane mein maza aata hai, but afterwards you have to carry that tums or whatever and keep popping in. They are called the rajasic food. Ati ushna, so all these. And then tamasic foods are, once eaten and left, they are called tamasic, or half eaten, not eaten, or once processed. In fact, the Ayurvedic book says that in the Sushruta, Charaka Samhita, it says that dvipakam, second time processing, vishavat tyajet. Consider it as slow poison. Therefore, do not eat that which is processed second time. They are so specific. So that becomes tamasic. And the best part is, eat fresh grapes. It is healthy. Putrefied grapes, not healthy. Eat fresh barley. It cleans your kidneys and keeps your entire digestive system clean. But putrefied barley, क्या होता है putrefied barley? हाँ, you know. Eat rice, putrefied rice. Do you know what it is? Sake. The warm, is it Japanese or Chinese? Japanese. Swamiji, how do you know all these things? So all these putrefied things are called tamasic. And in those things, there is high on the list is the onion and garlic. Yes, you can take it as a medicine, but just because you like Benadryl, you don't keep drinking it daily as a medicine. They are called tamasic because you are trying to grow out of your kama, the desires and passions. And these two especially have, as they call it, aphrodisiacs. And therefore, on one side you are trying to eliminate it, on the other side you are promoting it. So inside khalbali masti hai na. So therefore that is also put under the tamasic food. So the list is very elaborate and very nicely categorized. So go through that and you will have. So the sattvic food, and that is also Brahman. The one who is offering it, the consciousness without which you will not be able to eat or even digest, that consciousness is also Brahman. So every act that we perform is nothing but in Brahman, by the Brahman, for the Brahman. Complete democracy. And that is exactly what is being said and invoked before you partake food. Brahmarpanam brahmahavihi brahmagnau brahmanahutam brahmaiva tena gantavyam brahmakma samadhina. So just before taking food, pause, pray, chant this shloka, then eat. The food that you eat gets sanctified and you take it with that positive mindset that it is the prasad of the Lord. Further meaning of it we will see next week, because I have to go to the 9th graders. They have some questions about attire, clothes that they are wearing. मेरे हो तो मैं क्यों जाऊं, उनका प्रॉब्लम है, उनके